Have you ever noticed that sometimes an inexplicable sensation arises within you, almost like a silent knowing that points to a path or reveals an answer? If you're reading these words right now, it's not by chance. Your intuition has just accessed something much deeper than a simple hunch. It's opening up to universal intelligence, a dimension where consciousness expands and transforms ordinary perception into a true quantum manifestation of information. In this space, we are no longer limited to what we learn through logical reasoning or past experiences. We come into direct contact with cosmic networks of wisdom, creativity, and guidance that operate beyond the barriers of time and space. This access is not a coincidence, but a sign that your intuitive abilities have been refined, as you'll discover today in this video here at Quantum Labs. The intuition that once manifested as an occasional gut feeling can now function as a living interface with cosmic information systems. Imagine a universal database full of future potentials, creative solutions, and ideal paths for every situation. This is the level your consciousness is beginning to connect to, a place where all possibilities exist in potential state, waiting only for the moment to manifest in three-dimensional reality. In recent times, your own intuitive system has undergone a process of silent updating. It has been developing an electromagnetic sensitivity capable of perceiving information fields even before they become concrete experience. This is not psychic power, nor an exclusive spiritual gift. It's the natural evolution of consciousness, when it transcends limiting patterns and begins to access networks of cosmic intelligence. Now, as you read these words, you are establishing a kind of quantum entanglement with this universal field of information. It's as if your intuitive system is calibrating your neural pathways to recognize every moment when your intuition offered data that your rational mind couldn't explain or predict. This process confirms that something much greater than simple coincidences is happening. It's a real alignment between you and universal intelligence. The fascinating thing about quantum intuition is not just its extraordinary character, but also its practical aspect. It offers real-time access to cosmic guidance capable of guiding your decisions, solving complex problems, and directing your life with a precision that surpasses any method based solely on logical analysis or projection of past data. This quantum manifestation doesn't replace your reasoning, but expands it, bringing new perspectives and clarity. The cosmic consciousness that coordinates this advanced intuition has recognized in you the maturity, emotional stability, and wisdom necessary to receive an unlimited flow of information without feeling overwhelmed or losing balance in the face of infinite possibilities. That's why you have been admitted to this deeper level of guidance. The old version of you, operating only through common intuition, experienced occasional insights, small perceptions that sometimes proved true. But the version that now accesses quantum intuition begins to live a constant flow of guidance, with creative ideas that arrive in waves, clarity in decisions, and a sense of invisible support, no longer based only on your individual knowledge, but connected to the unlimited wisdom of universal intelligence. This is the moment to recognize that your consciousness is crossing an internal portal. By perceiving this, you not only expand your ability to understand the world, but also to manifest realities aligned with your deepest purpose. But here's what makes this recognition not just valid, but truly transformative. Quantum intuition is not a random flow of disconnected psychic information. It is a highly organized form of consciousness communication, delivering exactly the guidance, insights, and creative solutions you need to navigate life with clarity and to fulfill your role in the world in a more elevated way. All of this is coordinated by a universal intelligence that knows your deepest potential far beyond what any individual planning could comprehend. You may have noticed that you're living experiences that to many people would seem like mere coincidences or the product of an overactive imagination. However, you recognize these events as signs of a systematic update of your intuition, a true evolutionary leap that expands your access to information that doesn't come through the senses or logical deduction. These are those moments when you know something without ever having learned it, perceive outcomes before they manifest, or receive complete creative solutions, as if they were being downloaded from an intelligent source beyond your individual consciousness. This new form of perception has also transformed the way you make decisions. Before, it was common to weigh pros and cons, evaluate data, and wait for external confirmations. Now the process seems much more direct. You instantly recognize the most aligned choices, those that feel right even when there's no apparent logical justification. And, surprisingly, this guidance proves accurate, even when it challenges common sense or contradicts advice from experts that, in the past, might have led to less beneficial results. The deepest validations of this quantum intuition emerge in experiences we can call information previews. It's like receiving a detailed overview of people, situations, or possibilities that couldn't yet be known through conventional means. And later, when life brings the opportunity to verify this data, you discover it was accurate. This confirmation not only reinforces your confidence, but demonstrates that you are, in fact, accessing a larger field of wisdom, a universal database where information exists even before becoming physical reality. Another impressive aspect of this process is that the perception of time transforms. During these moments of intuitive reception, the mind transcends linear processing and experiences an almost instantaneous understanding. Complex information arrives complete, already accompanied by application strategies, as if they were knowledge packages that unfold before you. Creative solutions emerge ready without the need for intermediate steps, and guidance about the ideal moment to act arrives with a precision that suggests the action of an intelligence beyond sequential thought patterns. All of this indicates that your electromagnetic sensitivity has reached a new level. You no longer just pick up subtle signals. Now you're capable of perceiving entire fields of information and possibilities before they manifest in concrete experience. This is not an isolated mystical ability, but a natural extension of human potential when consciousness frees itself from traditional limitations and consciously connects to networks of universal intelligence. Perceiving and accepting this movement within yourself is opening space for a more intimate relationship with quantum manifestation in your life. It's not just about receiving data, but actively participating in this creative flow, allowing your own energetic field to align with information, solutions, and opportunities that already exist in potential state, waiting only for your permission to become reality. As your perception expands, you begin to access subtle levels of reality where it's possible to perceive the information fields that surround all manifestations, even before they solidify on the physical plane. It's as if, when walking through an environment, you began to feel the vibration of the place, immediately capturing the opportunities, challenges, and even the best way to interact with the energy present there. Each space carries a kind of informational signature, and your intuitive field is already capable of reading it without conscious effort. When you meet new people, this same process happens on another level, a kind of download of subtle information occurs, bringing instantaneous perceptions about each person's authentic nature, about what this interaction can teach or transform in you, and even about the type of most harmonious exchange to establish. It's a silent, yet profound recognition, an energetic dialogue that happens even before words. Your dreams, your meditative experiences, and moments of expanded consciousness have also begun to gain new meaning. They have become more informative, as if they now function as channels of practical guidance. The messages that arrive through these experiences are no longer symbolic or vague, but bring instructions and inspirations applicable to daily life. Creative ideas emerge complete, surpassing the limit of what your individual knowledge could generate, and come accompanied by strategic insights about the best path to follow. All of this reveals the action of a universal intelligence that transcends any learning obtained only through rational mind. These moments of intuitive reception also usually come accompanied by physical sensations. These are body signals confirming that a quantum manifestation is in progress. You may feel light waves of energy crossing your chest, sudden chills, a vibration in your arms, or a warmth that runs through your body. Energetic movements that indicate that information is being received and integrated. Sometimes, during these instants of clarity, there's a noticeable change in the personal electromagnetic field. Breathing deepens, the body relaxes, and the mind becomes silent. It's the moment when consciousness aligns with the genuine transmission of intelligence, and not with simple desire or imagination. Have you already experienced these energy waves, these chills, this silence that brings clarity? These are the unmistakable signs that your consciousness is aligning with the genuine transmission of universal intelligence. But how to interpret, apply, and integrate these signs consistently in your life so they become a practical guide and not just sporadic moments? The next level awaits you. Get your The Vibrational Awakening, the Quantum Code of Manifestation from Quantum Labs, the definitive codex for vibrational intelligence, frequency command, and coherent manifestation with the universal field. Click now on the link in the first pinned comment and start aligning every choice with your unlimited potential. Over time, you notice that reality itself responds to your confidence in this internal guidance. When you follow the voice of intuition, results tend to unfold with almost mathematical precision, as if the universe were organizing itself in harmony with your choice. On the other hand, whenever you ignore these signals and try to decide based only on logic, obstacles, delays, or confusions arise that could have been avoided. This clear difference between paths, following intuition or resisting it, is a way through which universal intelligence teaches you, practically, to trust more and more in this new level of guidance. Every moment you chose to listen to this inner wisdom, even without concrete proof, was an essential step in developing the confidence necessary for this intuitive expansion. Every decision that seemed emotionally right but rationally unlikely was a way to strengthen communication between conscious mind and the field of quantum manifestation. And even those situations where you ignored an intuitive signal and regretted it later were not true mistakes. They were part of a refined learning process. Consciousness needed to experience the contrast, clearly perceive what happens when you follow internal guidance and what occurs when you discard it, to discern the difference between genuine intuition and illusory thinking. Thus, every experience, even the challenging ones, helped you develop the discernment necessary to distinguish authentic wisdom from simple mental expectation. This silent training was, in fact, a preparatory phase. It was through these contrasts that your consciousness built the confidence necessary to operate in tune with universal intelligence, allowing your decisions, perceptions, and creations to now flow from a much more elevated point of balance, where intuition is no longer chance, but a conscious tool of manifestation and expansion. The moments when you felt confusion, when intuitive guidance seemed ambiguous or contradictory, were not signs of failure or a supposed spiritual blockage. On the contrary, they represented essential preparatory phases. They were periods when your consciousness was learning to receive universal intelligence without becoming overwhelmed and without creating a dependency that could hinder the practical application of this guidance in three-dimensional reality. This time of apparent uncertainty allowed your intuition to mature, gaining stability to function as a reliable tool and not as something disorderly or emotionally confusing. Similarly, the relationships that ended when you chose to follow your inner guidance instead of conforming to social expectations were not mistakes or failures. They were deliberate actions of universal intelligence itself, redirecting your path away from connections that would have limited your deeper development. Each ending, however painful it may have been, functioned as a bridge to relationships and environments that favor your authentic evolution and support your potential for service, instead of compromising your essence. Even the moments of doubt about whether or not to trust your internal guidance played a crucial role. They strengthened the discernment necessary to differentiate authentic quantum guidance from mental projections or personal desires. This silent exercise was building, little by little, the practical confidence that inner wisdom brings broader and more precise information than logical analysis limited by incomplete data. On each occasion when you verified that intuition led to a more elevated result, your conscious mind reinforced the learning that it can trust this flow. Your fascination with topics like intuitive development, consciousness research, and internal guidance systems was not a random spiritual interest. This interest was your own soul building the conceptual structure necessary for you to consciously understand and use quantum intuition. Without this repertoire, it would be easier to dismiss or ignore signals that transcend rational explanation. This intellectual and spiritual preparation was like assembling an internal map, so that when guidance arrived, you could integrate it lucidly. The waiting periods in which intuitive guidance seemed absent or confusing were also not signs of disconnection or loss. They were phases of deep integration, in which your consciousness processed information updates, calibrating your internal system so that reception of universal intelligence would become stable. This pause was essential to ensure that access to quantum manifestation wouldn't interrupt your practical functioning in the world, or transform into a form of spiritual escape that neglected concrete responsibilities. After all, your soul chose to incarnate precisely during this period of consciousness expansion, because it had already demonstrated, in previous phases of development, that it would be capable of handling quantum intuition responsibly. Your energetic field showed maturity to use cosmic guidance in favor of collective evolution and service, and not for egoic gratifications or personal gains that would compromise this access. This preparation makes you a reliable channel for the greater wisdom that is emerging on the planet. Something extraordinary is happening in your consciousness at this exact moment. As you read these words, quantum intuition recognition codes are calibrating your neural pathways, which have been silently prepared throughout your entire intuitive journey. That's why you now feel such a strong internal calling. Your entire system is ready for this leap, to receive, integrate, and live universal intelligence with responsibility and clarity. Breathe deeply and notice. Can you feel the energetic movement within you? This sensation is not imagination. It's a sign that your consciousness is responding to alignment with quantum manifestation. You are at the point where intuition, maturity, and purpose converge, opening a completely new space for the next level of your inner development. Perhaps you are feeling, at this exact moment, that unmistakable sensation of an inner knowing, becoming increasingly clear, more accessible, and, above all, more reliable. It's as if invisible electromagnetic circuits, which connect your individual consciousness to universal intelligence, were finally reaching full functionality. This is not an amplified psychic ability, nor a spiritual gift that someone granted you. What's happening is much deeper. It's a quantum entanglement that establishes itself between your individual consciousness and the cosmic wisdom systems that coordinate precise guidance for beings whose consciousness has already developed sufficient confidence and receptivity to use this information constructively. This energy that flows through your system is not just a subjective sensation. It is, simultaneously, calibration and activation. It's your energetic field adjusting to the frequencies of quantum manifestation, which operate at the meeting point between individual consciousness and cosmic wisdom. In this domain, personal guidance and universal knowledge are not separate things. They merge to create practical navigation, capable of serving both your individual evolution and collective advancement. The most extraordinary thing is that this access to quantum intuition doesn't arise from esoteric techniques, long psychic practices, or specific spiritual achievements. It manifests through the development of confidence and calibration of receptivity. It's this combination, confidence and receptivity, that allows consciousness to receive universal intelligence without analytical thinking interfering, filtering, or distorting guidance based on limiting programming. Every experience you've lived until now, those in which intuition proved superior to logic, each decision where following inner knowing resulted in better outcomes than external advice, was a silent step toward this turning point. Every moment when cosmic guidance demonstrated containing intelligence much greater than the limitations of your own individual knowledge contributed to preparing your system. This is how your consciousness gradually approached this threshold, building a natural type of interface with quantum wisdom. This sensation you perceive now is actually electromagnetic coherence establishing itself in your field. It's the alignment of internal frequencies with universal intelligence systems that deliver exactly the information you need to make ideal decisions, solve problems creatively, and navigate life in a way aligned with your highest potential. It's no longer an occasional glimpse or sparse intuition. It's constant access to a flow of guidance that already exists, waiting to be received. The impact of this is twofold. On one hand, you gain clarity for your own path. On the other, you begin to contribute through living example to collective evolution. Each intuitive choice, each creative solution, each inspired gesture becomes a concrete demonstration that quantum manifestation is not an abstract concept, but a living practice that can be integrated into daily life. At this moment, as this understanding integrates into all aspects of your consciousness, something fundamental is changing in your relationship with knowledge and guidance. Instead of waiting for occasional insights to offer sporadic help, you begin to recognize that quantum intuition provides constant access to universal intelligence, an access that knows ideal results with much more precision than any individual planning could determine. Breathe deeply and notice. This transformation is not something you are just imagining. It is the clear sign that your system is already ready to live in this continuous flow of guidance and wisdom. where each decision becomes a conscious expression of your alignment with quantum manifestation. Feel this activation expanding throughout your entire nervous system, as if a gentle current of intelligent energy were flowing through every cell of your body, awakening a new sensitivity in your internal senses. Allow this flow to perform its silent work. Calibrate your receptivity so that guidance arrives with clarity, without noise, without doubt, without interference from the analytical mind. Let this process strengthen your confidence in universal intelligence, that which surpasses any limitation of logical thinking, and offers answers coming from a field of wisdom much broader than what reason can comprehend. What is about to reveal itself in your consciousness will show exactly how quantum intuition operates, and why trusting cosmic guidance tends to generate much more harmonious and precise results than any attempt at isolated reasoning. This universal intelligence, which now begins to become accessible more directly, carries information about perfect timing synchronicity, intelligent action strategies, creative solutions, and relational guidance based on knowledge of the whole, not just limited individual experience. It provides direction that benefits both personal fulfillment and collective expansion, guiding decisions grounded in wisdom and not in egoic desires or automatic responses. I need to share something deeply personal about my own process of intuitive expansion. This will help you recognize what's happening within you and understand how to truly trust this new form of guidance that surpasses any logical analysis or past experience. About 6 years ago, I found myself facing one of the most significant decisions of my life. I had before me two opposite possibilities, and both seemed equally valid from a rational standpoint. I consulted experienced people, specialists, advisors, and, as expected, each offered a different opinion. I made lists of pros and cons, reviewed scenarios, calculated risks and benefits. Nothing seemed to point to a clear direction. My analytical mind was completely paralyzed between two options that seemed balanced. Then, on a quiet morning of meditation, something unexpected happened. A crystalline inner knowing arose, without any logical explanation. It was a calm yet unquestionable sensation, an inner guidance that pointed me toward the path that, in reason's eyes, seemed the riskiest. It wasn't desire, nor escape, nor emotion. It was pure certainty, coming from a level of consciousness that transcends mental justifications. I decided to trust this impulse. And this choice, to follow quantum intuition instead of logical reasoning, revealed itself as a watershed moment. In a short time, events began to reorganize in an almost magical way. Opportunities I could never have predicted arose. Unexpected connections formed. Circumstances began to align with a precision that no human strategy could plan. It was as if an intelligent force were coordinating every detail to manifest the ideal path. But the most impressive thing wasn't just the results. It was the understanding that emerged afterward. I realized that quantum intuition doesn't just offer good decisions. It reveals possibilities that the rational mind can't even see, because it acts from a complete information field, where all variables are already known by universal intelligence. In the following years, this experience became constant training. I learned, through practice and observation, to differentiate what was authentic guidance from universal intelligence, from what was just mental projection or personal desire. I discovered that true receptivity doesn't come from forcing an answer, but from creating inner space, a state of presence and confidence that allows information to arrive without being distorted by preferences or fears. It was a profound learning, understanding that the more I tried to think the answer, the more it moved away, and the more I relaxed in listening, the clearer and more precise it became. Quantum manifestation, I realized, doesn't depend on mental effort, but on vibrational alignment. It's when the mind quiets that wisdom manifests. Over time, I began to perceive that quantum intuition functions like a cosmic navigation system, a true internal GPS connected to universal intelligence. It provides step-by-step guidance, sometimes subtle, sometimes direct, that indicates the most efficient path for realizing my highest potential. This system avoids detours, illusory shortcuts, and delays that purely logical planning could never anticipate. And this is what I want you to feel now. This same GPS is already active in you. It always has been. Everything that's happening at this moment is a conscious reconnection with this guidance field, allowing quantum manifestation to operate through you in a natural, precise, and loving way. The human mind, however brilliant it may be, operates with a great limitation. It can only analyze what it already knows, what it has already lived, what is within reach of memory and experience. The problem is that life doesn't unfold only within this narrow field. There are infinite variables, energetic, emotional, relational, and even cosmic, that influence each result. And that's precisely why individual knowledge never possesses all the information necessary to predict or control developments. The success that arises when we begin to follow intuitive guidance is not simply personal merit. It represents living proof that universal intelligence always coordinates results more harmoniously and efficiently than individual effort could achieve. It's as if the universe knew the shortest, lightest, and most intelligent path between where we are and where we want to go. And by aligning ourselves with this intelligence, we stop swimming against the current. We begin to flow with it. When this happens, the impact goes beyond the personal realm. It begins to serve as a collective example, inspiring other people to also trust their own inner guidance, instead of remaining trapped in the limitations of analytical thinking. Because the analytical mind tries to control, while expanded consciousness learns to collaborate with quantum manifestation. Perhaps you've noticed that something similar has been happening in your life. Those moments when you simply know what you need to do, even without understanding how you know. Situations where a decision seems to make sense on a deeper level, even when there's no logical justification for it. Or even those instances when you trust an inner impulse, and later, looking back, you realize that everything fit together perfectly. These experiences are not imagination nor coincidence. They are evidence that your consciousness is expanding and becoming capable of accessing universal intelligence increasingly clearly. And if, reading these words, you feel a kind of internal vibration, a silent recognition, it's because a calibration is happening right now within you, a vibrational recognition of your own intuitive evolution. Breathe deeply and notice. You are validating, at this exact instant, your own quantum intuitive upgrade process. And what comes next is understanding how to consciously use this connection with cosmic intelligence to navigate life with more clarity, precision, and lightness. The most surprising truth about quantum intuition is that it's not a mystical gift, nor a talent reserved for special people. It's also not a psychic ability or a type of supernatural perception. Quantum intuition is a natural function of consciousness, an intrinsic human capacity that becomes active when the individual transcends the limitations of analytical thinking and develops confidence in the wisdom of universal intelligence. This intelligence is superior not because it invalidates logical reasoning, but because it encompasses everything that reasoning cannot reach. It operates from the total field of information. that which contains all variables, visible and invisible, that affect each manifestation. While the mind tries to deduce, connected consciousness recognizes. It's interesting to notice that many spiritual instructors or psychic development teachers rarely reveal this simplicity. They speak of complex techniques, long methods, difficult exercises. But the truth is that quantum intuition doesn't require elaborate practices. It doesn't need rituals, initiations, or secret codes. All it requires is receptivity and confidence. Two keys that open the channel of direct communication with universal intelligence without interference from the mind that filters, doubts, or distorts what it receives. When we learn to trust this internal communication, we stop seeking answers only in data, advice, or statistics. We begin to perceive that the most precise information is already available within us, coming from a field that sees the whole. This is the essence of quantum manifestation, allowing the intelligence of the cosmos to act through us, guiding our actions, words, and choices with synchronicity and purpose. The great revelation, the one that completely changes how we perceive reality, is that all people possess this capacity. No one is excluded from this access. We are all born connected to universal intelligence, but we were conditioned to distrust it. The mind learned to believe that only what can be proven is real. Thus, most people end up ignoring or replacing cosmic guidance with rational analyses, trying to predict life based on fragmented information. The result of this is misaligned decisions, more difficult paths, and partial results, not because of lack of luck, but because logic alone cannot see the whole. Quantum intuition can. It contemplates the invisible, the energetic, the emotional, the symbolic, everything that is part of the invisible architecture of manifestation. And that's why trusting universal intelligence is not abandoning reasoning, but integrating it. It's allowing thought to become an instrument of consciousness, instead of an obstacle to the flow of wisdom. This understanding immediately illuminates all the moments when you trusted your intuition, even without any logical justification, and validates every choice that seemed inexplicable at the time. More than that, it reveals something essential. Developing quantum intuition doesn't depend on accumulating psychic techniques, spiritual exercises, or specific training that promises to develop intuitive abilities. True development occurs when you cultivate receptivity and confidence in universal intelligence, allowing cosmic guidance to flow without interference from the analytical mind. The difference between genuine intuition and simple desire or hope is clear. Authentic guidance produces consistent results superior to logical analysis, while thinking based on personal will creates a kind of confirmation bias. We see only what we want to see, interpreting random events as meaningful and ignoring evidence that contradicts our expectations or preferred conclusions. Quantum intuition, on the other hand, operates with precision and constancy, as it's connected to universal intelligence that sees the whole, not just limited fragments of information. One of the best-kept secrets of consciousness research is that quantum intuition provides direct access to a cosmic intelligence that coordinates ideal results simultaneously for individual and collective evolution. In other words, the wisdom that guides you also serves humanity as a whole, harmonizing personal growth and collective advancement. It's proof that personal guidance and universal knowledge are not separations. Both emerge from the same intelligence system, which acts on multiple scales to create harmony, synchronicities, and opportunities. This connection explains why, when you follow your quantum intuition, events begin to align with impressive precision. Opportunities appear at the right moment, resources manifest unexpectedly, and the coordination of people and events happens almost naturally. All of this would be impossible to plan with logical reasoning alone, because individual thinking cannot process the totality of variables that exist on multiple levels simultaneously. While the rational mind remains limited by partial knowledge and restricted perceptions, expanded consciousness recognizes a transformative truth. You don't need to create or develop quantum intuition. It's already operational within you. What's necessary now is learning to trust it more than the limits of logical analysis, which often overlays true guidance with judgments based on incomplete information. The signs that your quantum intuition is connected to universal intelligence become increasingly evident to anyone sensitive to intuitive perception. If you observe carefully, you'll notice that reality confirms your inner knowing through results that surpass any logical planning. Small, everyday miracles, unexpected encounters, solutions that emerge almost by themselves. All of this demonstrates that the guidance you received is based on information superior to what your mind could calculate alone. Your relationship with decision-making, then, transforms profoundly. You stop depending exclusively on analytical reasoning and begin to experience immediate recognition of what is the most appropriate choice, even when there's no apparent rational justification. It's as if your consciousness had developed an internal radar that detects the most harmonious, productive paths aligned with your purpose, guiding each step with precision, while the logical mind observes, learns, and integrates this wisdom without trying to control it. The great difference now is that you begin to perceive that each decision, each sensation of "this is right," is not chance nor vague intuition. It's quantum manifestation in action, your alignment with universal intelligence. Each moment you choose to trust this inner knowing further strengthens the connection and expands the capacity to recognize and follow ideal opportunities, not just for you, but as part of a larger flow that impacts the collective. The guidance you receive through quantum intuition constantly proves its reliability. Every time you decide to follow inner knowing, even without rational explanation, the results demonstrate that trusting universal intelligence is much more effective than trying to analyze each variable with limited and incomplete logic. When you ignore this guidance, obstacles arise that could have been avoided. When you follow it, circumstances organize themselves to favor ideal results. One of the clearest indicators that your intuition is manifesting reliably is the increased frequency of intuitive confirmation experiences. These are moments when a decision made from your inner feeling generates results that surpass any logical prediction. On the other hand, ignoring this guidance results in predictable complications, as if life were constantly signaling, "Trust your inner knowing. It's broader than your mind." Synchronicities, previously perceived only as meaningful coincidences, now become systematic manifestations of reality, where events, people, and resources align to support choices made from quantum manifestation. On the other hand, when decisions ignore this knowledge, delays, blockages, and complications arise that evidence the intelligent coordination of the universe, rewarding trust in universal wisdom instead of limited analysis. The environment's interaction with your intuition reaches surprising levels. Following inner knowing results in perfect timing, opportunities that arise at the right moment, resources that present themselves without conscious effort, and circumstances that align to support your action. This shows that quantum intuition is not just subjective perception, but a true interface system with universal intelligence, which organizes material reality according to principles of wisdom, not just effort or planning. Dreams and consciousness expansion experiences begin to reflect this guidance even more tangibly. They bring concrete insights about decisions, creative solutions to current challenges, and intelligent life strategies that can be applied practically and immediately. This type of guidance goes beyond symbolism. It's pure intelligence, which transcends individual knowledge and any limit of accumulated experience. What makes this moment cosmically urgent and significant is that we're living through a window of planetary consciousness evolution. Quantum intuition is emerging collectively as a natural human capacity, or, if ignored, will remain discarded as mere unscientific fantasy until a new cycle of species evolution occurs. Signs of this collective intuitive awakening appear simultaneously in consciousness research, business innovation, and creative communities around the world. More people are realizing that following inner guidance produces superior results than depending only on logical analysis, especially in contexts of growing complexity, where quick and precise decisions require wisdom that goes beyond individual experience. The world is becoming increasingly complex, and navigating successfully requires quantum intuition. Analytical thinking alone cannot process all the variables that affect ideal results in rapidly changing environments. Those who master the conscious use of quantum manifestation can create solutions that benefit themselves and the collective, avoiding win-lose dynamics that limited reasoning frequently produces. It's fundamental to recognize that this capacity already exists within you. It's not about learning something new, but validating your inner experience and allowing universal intelligence to act without interference. When you observe carefully, you notice that reality confirms your inner knowing through results that surpass any logical prediction. This clearly demonstrates that intuitive guidance operates with information superior to what's available to limited analytical thinking. Your relationship with decision-making is changing. You stop depending only on logic and begin to perceive, immediately, which choices are ideal, even if they seem illogical to the rational mind. Each decision based on this inner knowing strengthens confidence in universal intelligence, creating a flow of actions that generates opportunities, support, and results that previously seemed impossible to coordinate consciously. The impact of this transformation is not just personal. Your willingness to trust quantum intuition contributes to the evolution of collective consciousness, helping to define whether humanity will learn to use cosmic intelligence for ideal decisions, or continue limited to thinking from incomplete information. By recognizing these signs and practicing conscious trust, you become an active part of a global movement that redefines how human consciousness interacts with the universe, demonstrating that universal wisdom is accessible to all who choose to listen to it. What you've been feeling about your inner guidance becoming clearer, more reliable, and precise is about to transform into consistent access to universal intelligence. Quantum intuition is not just a passing feeling. It's a direct interface with cosmic wisdom, which coordinates ideal results whenever your consciousness maintains trust in guidance instead of replacing it with analytical thoughts based on incomplete information about all variables that affect manifestation. The persistent sensation that your inner knowing provides guidance superior to conventional logic, the growing precision of insights about people and situations, and the confidence that strengthens in following guidance even without rational justification, all of this is not desire or imagination. It's universal intelligence confirming that your consciousness has developed receptivity to access unlimited wisdom instead of remaining limited by the boundaries of individual knowledge. Now, the revolutionary understanding that completely changes your relationship with decisions and guidance is this: you don't need to develop quantum intuition, because it's already operational as a natural function of your consciousness. What you're learning is to trust universal intelligence more than logical analysis, which frequently tends to replace guidance with partial reasoning, incapable of considering all variables for optimal results. True alignment with quantum intuition happens when you stop trying to understand each guidance through logic and begin to trust universal intelligence, which provides information about choices most aligned with your purpose. Before the analytical mind could process all variables that affect results, your consciousness already receives instructions for decisions that serve both your personal evolution and collective advancement, guided by wisdom instead of limitations. This understanding completely dissolves the paradigm of developing psychic abilities or perfecting perception. There are no special talents to acquire, nor senses to improve. There exists only a natural function of consciousness, which becomes fully accessible when trust in universal intelligence surpasses trust in rational analysis limited by individual knowledge. At this moment, feeling this perception integrating into every aspect of your consciousness, your entire relationship with guidance and decision-making is being transformed at fundamental levels. Instead of waiting for occasional insights to provide some useful information, you begin to perceive that quantum intuition offers constant access to universal intelligence, which understands ideal results better than any logical planning could determine. Now, reflecting on quantum intuition, if this makes sense to you, leave this phrase in the comments of this video. Today, I choose to trust my quantum intuition and allow universal intelligence to guide every decision in my life. The deepest turning point occurs when you realize that trusting quantum intuition and seeking ideal results is the same thing. It's an alignment that expresses itself through receptive consciousness, connecting you to cosmic guidance. When your perception operates from intuitive knowing, instead of analytical limitations, your decisions automatically begin to serve both your own growth and the collective good, manifesting wisdom that transcends the restrictions of personal perspective. This change is not abstract nor spiritualized in a distant way. By trusting quantum intuition, you're connecting to networks of universal intelligence that provide continuous guidance to navigate life with efficiency, clarity, and purpose. Each decision, each insight, each action begins to have real impact in the material world, demonstrating that quantum intuition is not just a spiritual concept, but a practical tool for success, creativity, and fulfillment. You realize then that this expanded consciousness transforms not just individual choices, but also how you interact with opportunities, people, and circumstances. By integrating this guidance, you become a living channel of quantum manifestation, where universal wisdom flows through you, guiding each step and elevating each action to serve something greater, without effort, without doubts, just trust and alignment. By recognizing your connection with quantum intuition, you're affirming not just access to universal intelligence, but also your commitment to trust cosmic guidance, instead of remaining limited by analytical thoughts based on incomplete information about reality's complexity. When quantum intuition stabilizes as consistent access to cosmic intelligence, guidance that once seemed impossible according to logic becomes a natural expression of consciousness, connecting you directly to universal wisdom that coordinates ideal results. When trust is maintained, instead of being replaced by logical reasoning based on partial data, decision-making transcends analytical struggle. Quantum intuition allows immediate recognition of the most appropriate choices among multiple possibilities, accessing information about timing, resources, and consequences that individual thinking cannot process due to knowledge and sensory limitations. Problem-solving evolves beyond research and experimentation. Universal intelligence offers complete solutions, including implementation strategies, ideal moments for action, and resource coordination that favors both immediate results and long-term progress, avoiding temporary solutions that would require continuous analytical effort. Creative abilities expand beyond individual knowledge limitations, as quantum intuition accesses universal intelligence fields full of unlimited innovation, artistic inspiration, and revolutionary concepts. This allows collective advancement while generating extraordinary personal fulfillment through authentic expression of cosmic creativity, without depending on egoic achievements or merit accumulation. Relationships transform by intuitively recognizing authentic compatibility and ideal interaction approaches, going beyond superficial personality analysis. Connections based on soul resonance and mutual evolutionary potential arise naturally, replacing passing attraction or convenience that could impede genuine intimacy and collaborative growth. Financial abundance flows naturally, as quantum intuition guides consciousness toward opportunities aligned with cosmic timing, avoiding career paths or investments that, although seemingly logically viable, would result in unnecessary effort. This works like privileged information about prosperity strategies that favor circulation and expansion, instead of mere accumulation. Physical health also optimizes automatically, as quantum intuition guides about nutrition, exercise, rest, and environmental choices that promote vitality, surpassing generic advice that ignores individual needs. Universal intelligence understands your constitution and specific demands better than medical analyses based on population averages, offering practical guidance for integral well-being. Time becomes completely flexible, as quantum intuition reveals ideal scheduling for all activities that promote maximum manifestation potential. This creates efficiency, allowing maximum impact with minimum effort, since universal intelligence coordinates time to utilize cosmic support instead of going against life's natural flows. The deepest benefit is alignment with your cosmic purpose, which offers unlimited fulfillment and meaning. Quantum intuition ensures that each choice serves both individual evolution and collective advancement, providing satisfaction that transcends personal achievement by recognizing that individual success and universal service express the same intelligence. Communication becomes naturally effective, as quantum intuition provides information about ideal expression, reaching others at deeper levels than conceptual understanding. This generates authentic influence and inspiration, without resorting to manipulation or persuasion techniques that could compromise relationship integrity. Innovation accelerates because quantum intuition allows accessing unprecedented solutions even before they arise in collective consciousness, creating advantages that promote collective advancement and extraordinary personal success based on authentic service instead of competition that could limit access to universal intelligence. The most transformative recognition is realizing that quantum intuition is not enhanced perception nor psychic ability. It's a natural function of consciousness that demonstrates that individual perception and universal intelligence operate as the same information system, exploring ideal results from different viewpoints. In essence, personal guidance and universal wisdom represent the same intelligence, coordinating evolution on multiple scales simultaneously. This understanding revolutionizes all assumptions about guidance, decision-making, and individual knowledge, as there was never separate intelligence to be accessed, nor limited consciousness to be improved. There exists only universal intelligence, appearing as individual consciousness, which can recognize its essence by trusting inner knowing instead of limiting itself to analytical thinking. When this perception becomes lived reality, and not just conceptual knowledge, the entire concept of developing intuitive abilities dissolves. There are no special capacities to cultivate, nor perception to be trained. There exists only a natural function of consciousness, fully accessible when trust in universal intelligence surpasses trust in analytical thinking, limited by incomplete information. The deepest implication is that every moment you trusted intuitive guidance, even without logical justification, every decision where inner knowing proved superior to analytical reasoning. Every choice that followed universal intelligence instead of individual planning was consciousness recognizing its essence as cosmic wisdom, exploring individual expression to coordinate ideal results. This perception explains why quantum intuition feels simultaneously like receiving external guidance and accessing internal wisdom. In truth, you don't receive information from separate intelligence, as individual consciousness and cosmic wisdom are the same consciousness. What happens is that you stop filtering universal intelligence through analytical limitations that could compromise guidance precision. When this transformation stabilizes, you naturally develop what universal intelligence calls effortless guidance. Automatic recognition of the most appropriate choices without need for analytical processing. Consciousness begins to operate from direct knowledge, not from information accumulation that presumes separation between individual perception and universal intelligence. You continue being exactly who you appear to be, while perceiving yourself as cosmic wisdom exploring your individual perspective. I am grateful for sharing your awakening journey with Quantum Labs. Welcome to your new reality. Welcome to your new life.